Hello everyone, I'm Jake, the GeekOutTech, and today I'm going to show you some of the major changes in Apple's new iOS 7 and tell you why I think iOS 7 is a definite improvement. Now with iOS 7, Apple has made changes to almost every single screen and animation. So let's go over some of the major visual changes in iOS 7. First up is the lock screen, the passcode screen, unlocking animation, folders and folder animations. All the Apple icons have changed. Settings, calculator, weather, stocks, Safari pages, messages, calendar, dynamic wallpapers, Siri, notification center, playing music, songs and artists now have images, playing audiobooks, landscape while playing music, the camera, and finally, this isn't a visual, but you now have iTunes Radio. Pandora! Excuse me, I got something caught in my throat. I have to admit that when I started using the first beta of iOS 7, there were so many visual changes, I found it distracting and I didn't like using it. But now, after several months of using iOS 7 exclusively, here are the reasons why I now prefer using iOS 7. First up, the lock screen. There's now pause, play, next and previous track, and volume controls directly on the lock screen. You don't have to double tap the home button to get those anymore. Also, if you have a timer, the remaining time shows in the lock screen and you can just tap once to turn it off. If you have an alarm, you can tap to snooze and it shows you how long the snooze is. Not that you'll care at all if you're half asleep. For people who have tons of apps, you can now add as many apps as you like to a folder. Another thing I like too is that iOS 7 adapts the color scheme to match the background. To me, that gives a more cohesive feel. By far, the best new feature of iOS 7 is the Control Center. Control Center makes it quick and easy to access many things I use all the time. Music controls, turning on and off Wi-Fi to conserve the battery, the calculator, the timer. Also, Control Center can be accessed from anywhere. I did notice that it does behave slightly different when you're playing a game. You have to swipe up once to get this little tab and then swipe up on the little tab. And the cool thing is that it pauses your game for you while you're in Control Center. And this works pretty much the same way for Notification Center. So overall, from a day-to-day usage standpoint, for me, iOS 7 is a big win. By far, the biggest complaint about iOS 7 are the visual changes. If you really don't like the new bright colors, I suggest making your background a bit more of a neutral color, and it really isn't that bad. So those are my thoughts on iOS 7. And as always, if you have an important application that you have to have working all the time, I'd recommend waiting a little bit before upgrading and make sure that that application works well on iOS 7. And if there's anything else about iOS 7 that you'd like me to cover in another video, please make a suggestion down in the comments below. I'm Jake, the GeekOutTech. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. It's the easiest way to support the channel. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time.